in order and stuff like that. So that's one of the advantages right now that you need to take advantage of, because you can. That's one thing they only give you once a year for free. Now they're giving it to you once a week.
Right. So again, it's important. Yes, we're talking about small business credit, but you can't have small business credit. You can't establish a small business credit. You personally cannot establish small business credit if your personal credit is not in order. Now, there's options and ways around establishing business credit without, if you personally cannot. So let's say you're in the process of rebuilding, and it's going to take you some time to dispute things off your credit. If you have a partner or an investor that their credit strength is stronger than yours, and you have an agreement with them, y'all in partnership, or you have a operating agreement. That's called, an operating agreement with someone, and it talks about how you and the partner is going to operate the business and what percentage of the business that you and the partner own. Then your partner, based on the percentage, can apply and become a personal guarantor for credit as well. So they have to own a certain percentage. And I believe, what's that percentage, Drea? I know it has to be, over 20% or so? 25% of the company in order to apply for like any type of small business lending or credit. So you do have options. So don't think that, Lord, it's going to take me 5 or 6 years before I can do this because my credit is not the best. And then again, Drea, what's the turnaround time? So let's say I have a 500 credit score and I'm trying to file credit, and I'm trying to build my credit. What would you say a turnaround time, if you do the steps that it takes, how long do you think it'll take to get you at a state to start being approved for credit again?
Well, it depends on where your credit is at, what you owe, how much money you have to make. It depends on what your credit is. So if you got collection accounts and things like that, it all depends on how much money you got for settlements, how much money you may have to pay off debt. And then you have to start reestablishing your credit with new credit.
Right.
So the biggest thing is, if your credit score is that low, then you need to start working with somebody, or pulling your credit reports and working with your creditors to see how you can settle debts, or you can pay off debts and things like that.
Okay, yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot that you have to do in reference. But the first thing is knowing the information, knowing exactly what's on your credit, knowing exactly what needs to be disputed, what needs to be paid off. There are things, derogatory items and negative items on your report last for a period of time. I believe it's 7 years that it may take to drop off, depending. So, as things drop off of your credit report, the goal is not to add them on unless they're positive. But it does take some time. So while you're in the process of rebuilding that credit, then an option is to bring in a partner or an investor, or even just sit down to a consultant to see, how can you fix it? If there are some products, the government is always putting out different grants and products and loans and things that may apply to you. So they may possibly have something out there for people who don't have the best credit. You never know. It's just all in reaching out and trying to get that information. All right. Did you want to add anything else?
Basically, like you said before, establishing business credit in the beginning is based on your personal. Mm-hmm. So once you get to that, then that's when. But in the beginning, you want to still build what is called a Duns and Bradstreet,
which you want to talk about.
Yeah, you want to talk about that. But that's really basically establishing business credit is building your personal credit in the beginning.
Okay.
And then we go into other stuff.
Yeah. So when we come back, we will be talking about Duns and Bradstreet. Drea, perfectly on time. That's another form of building credit, and we're going to also talk about what the NAV system.
We're going to talk about the NAV. We're going to talk about just the different credit reporting agencies that offer business owners.
Yeah. So when we come back after this short break, a couple of minutes, we'll talk about that. And just to let you know, we've been playing a couple of artists whose albums just came out. So if you listen, Meg Thee Stallion, her album came out last week. What was the name of her album?
I know.
Good news.
Good news.
Yeah,
Good news. What y'all think about that album?
You always want to have good news. That's what you're supposed to have. Good news.
Yeah, I like a couple of songs on there.
There's some dance.
And then 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, Jeezy and Gucci had this little, versus battle, and we have different people with different feelings about it. I feel like Jeezy won only because Gucci didn't play what he should have played to win. You know.
But Gucci ain't come there for that.
He ain't come.
He came there to tell his truth.
Yeah, he came there to say the reason why we've been beefing. That's his
He
whole
ain't come
reason.
there to bring no music.
And that I might have to, we might have to take care of this after the show. But needless to say, so what we playing? We playing something for Jeezy?
Oh, you ready?
Well, I mean, you ready? whatever Scott got going on, that's what we playing.
We put on Foul City. That's what we doing. We putting on
We
Foul
put on. Uh-oh.
DMV is putting on Foul City right now.
I'm about to say, hold on. I thought we played something from the new
Oh,
album.
but we are, right?
Okay, I'm gonna
Not
tell
all.
you.
So we talking about the new album.
We do
Go
the
ahead.
album
Go
too.
ahead.
All right. Just making sure we all on the same.
I did it. I got to I'm learning. And I'm going. It's like, I got so much credit, business credit, so we didn't. I got mad because I feel like right now that's the respectful thing to do with me. I mean, I can't go right, but like I had started this on with my friends, so we like still running after my personal credit is growing. So we have just linked off of the card. And then we have a big
We live right now, right? Power 4.4 Info by Vita. Again, I know my name is DJ Scott, the rock right over there.
I ain't gonna tell you to do my hair back.
Yo, thank you for the one. How'd you know I needed that? Shout out to everybody that came to listen. Shout out to everybody that saw it. You're live. Power 4.4 is live. My live. We live.
All right, we back for Info by Vita, which is on Live 365, Power 4.4. Download the app. If you like to call in, you can call in at 443-835-3735. We have our guest who's coming on, Miss Drea, right?
Yes.
And then we also have our actual future guest of the building, our small business owner, Miss Tia, in the building.
Hey, Miss
Yay,
Welcome.
welcome. So Tia is from Salon Alon, and she is the owner of Salon Alon. So we'll be asking her some questions a little bit later. But right now, what we're getting into is the Duns and Bradstreet as well as the NAF system. And then we're going to talk about what companies are actually approving you for loans, and what are some good experiences with those as well. So I'll turn it over to Miss Drea.
Hello. So, one of the things that, thank you, Miss Vita, for allowing me to talk about it. But one of the things that I do know about businesses and establishing, not credit, just credit and just having capital is one of the biggest things that a lot of businesses lack. And because of the lack of capital, a lot of them don't grow as much as they should. You got a lot of people that say, I don't want to get no loans for my business. I want everything to be cash. But having that capital allows you to be able to pay employees, like especially like certain trades, like you may have where you getting 30, 60, or 90-day pays where you waiting for somebody to pay you, but your employees still got to be paid.
Yeah.
So the only way you can pay your employees is if you have some type of money or capital to pay them until you get the money from whatever contractors you're working for.
Right.
So that's one of the biggest things that, and also you're having cash on hand because anything can happen to your business, as people seeing right now dealing with this pandemic. So just preparation is the best thing when it comes to your business. But I always tell people one thing about businesses. I always encourage businesses to establish what is called your Duns and Bradstreet number. And
DNB.
Yep, the DNB, and you'll go to dnb.com. And basically what it is just like a 9-digit number that's a social security number. Well, not a social security, as an identifying number for your business. Where most lenders, and I'm not going to say credit card, but lenders like banks and things like that, they pull your Duns and Bradstreet because Duns and Bradstreet does have a credit rating for your business as well.
Okay, so it's so what are some companies that actually utilize, or how can you build a Duns and Bradstreet number? Like, how do I know if I have one? Do I have one?
You can go to Duns and Bradstreet and put in a search for your business.
Okay.
So basically you go in there, search your business, see if you have one. If you don't have one, you want to establish one. Having a long established relationship with a Duns and Bradstreet helps you out, which again, they still, a lot of lenders work on your personal credit. But you got some companies that will work with Duns and Bradstreet, like your Uline, Staples, them 30, 60, 90 companies. But that doesn't really help establish your building capital and stuff like that.
Right. And so what she means by that, so for example, I'm a business owner and I need to purchase supplies, right? So normally we go to Sam's Club, we go to like the normal places. But if you actually establish an account with like a Uline, which is online, and you order supplies through them, they report to Duns and Bradstreet. So your relationship that you build with them actually could create your Duns and Bradstreet number and you not realize it. And then, of course, as you build your relationship with Uline, they give you the option of 30, 60, 90. Once you've built the relationship with them, that's a credit relationship that you're building with an actual company who's utilizing Duns and Bradstreet as the link to the creditor. So, go ahead.
But the thing about Duns and Bradstreet and them creditors, a lot of people don't need supplies. A lot of people don't need boxes and stuff like that through Uline. Some people don't even really need credit through Staples. Or they can go through credit, through Staples and things like that. So, and then like I said, lenders and everything, they pull it just to see what you're doing with that actual credit reporting agency. But you gotta realize there are other credit reporting agencies out there that they utilize for businesses.
So what are some of the credit reporting agencies?
Experian for Business. So you just go into your Google, type in Experian for Business. And all these credit reporting agencies for businesses do have a rating system between A and an F.
Okay.
So you have Experian for Business, and they also have Equifax for Business.
So what is an A? So A means the best?
Yes. A
And F means the worst.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, you need some work on it.
Okay, so you can actually create an account with Experian or Equifax for the business that's not linked to the personal.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that credit report only goes towards your business. So
Exactly.
when you're establishing your business credit, that stuff doesn't link to your personal credit
Absolutely.
at all.
And I get that question a lot. It's like, oh, like us, I get unemployment or something, and I'm worried about this loan or this grant that I'm getting with the business. Is it going to show up on my personal credit report? And the question is, how is the business set up? If it's set up with a separate EIN number, right, and a separate business name, then whatever you get approved through the business will come up on the business credit report, even if you're a personal guarantor. So that comes back to you. I'm a personal guarantor.
It doesn't show.
Is it going to show up on my personal credit? No, it's not. So you have two separate, the personal and the business.
So the thing is to establish your your business accounts with the Equifax, Experian, and the Duns and Bradstreet.
Okay.
The good thing is there's an agency out there too called nav.com, which is a reporting agency that combines all three of the credit reporting agencies, where you can go ahead and there's a free service. It's called nav.com.
Nav.com.
And you can go there and there's a free service where you can look at the ratings for all three of your credit reporting agencies, your Duns and Bradstreet, your Experian, and your Equifax. The thing about that, they just show you, like they'll show you like your Duns and Bradstreet and certain ones, they'll show you certain things. But to get a full credit report, they require you to pay a fee.
Right.
But you can get a look on there and see basically like a guide to where your business at. Because as you know, a lot of people, when they was applying for the SBA loans, they was running your Experian business account.
Okay.
That's what they was running people. They was running people businesses through Experian business,
Right.
as well as your personal.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of people didn't get approved because they had bad personal.
And they didn't have an established business. And then NAV is for the business itself. So again, it pulls the Experian, the Equifax, and the Duns and Bradstreet scoring for your business to see where your business is. We dropping jewels on y'all.
That's where a lot, and then like I said, a lot of banks pull the Duns and Bradstreet, either one of them credit reporting agencies, when you're looking for not just credit. And then the thing, let me say about NAV. NAV will base credit cards for your business on what they see on your business and your personal, because they pull both reports.
Okay.
So you can see where if your credit score is 700 and something, and they'll say this credit card is based on your personal credit that you may be apply for this line of credit.
Okay.
And